Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Each Other's Soulmate. It has been a couple of weeks, two, I think, to be specific. We're back. We're back, bitches. Two broads back at you. We took a break. It was Thanksgiving and then life shit, like always. So again, I know we said this a bunch, but thank you for your patience. I know we promise an episode every Tuesday. We haven't been doing that. Sorry. We trying. We trying. But yeah, a lot of life changes, a lot of life updates for the both of us. We've just been kind of doing it. So, but we have obviously not forgotten about you guys. Spotify Wrapped came out last week, which was really cool. And I totally forgot it included podcasts because I'm dumb and this is my first year doing a podcast. But we had some cool stats. Apparently we have 7 listeners where we are their top podcast. So, and but there was other stats too, like 10 or 15, we were in their top 5. And that is awesome. I know that may seem like an insignificant number to certain things, but it's not to us. It's like the greatest thing that could ever happen.
Really.
Any kind of listen. If we had 1 listen every episode, no, because that would be from me. But 2 or no, 3 aside from me and Tina.
Yeah.
But we're so thankful for every and anything. It's just so awesome to be about we're a little more than 6 months in, right? About 6, 7 now. We started in May. We're so thankful for where we are right now. And I think you and I are both so excited for the new year and to see where we can keep pushing it. We're constantly trying to figure out how to keep this going and get better and be better for you guys, and it's just really exciting. It's very exciting. It's always very exciting to run into people too, and they're like, you guys are almost on season 3, right? Anytime I hear that from people in public, I'm just like, that is so cool. So thank you guys so much for sticking around and tuning in and supporting for as much as you can. I have a lot of people who are like, I just watch your clips and they're so crazy. I'm like, yeah, we try. So but thank you so much for the patience and for everything. But yeah, so hopefully we'll be posting tomorrow. So it'll be dropping on a Friday. I know, weird schedule, but oh well. But yeah, so life's just been lifing. But we're going to get into it. Again, we are Each Other's Soulmate. We are 2 broads talking about our 4 favorite broads in New York City. And real quick shout out, I'm wearing new merch. Hey. Check that out. I know some of you might just be listening, but if you can see, this is merch from the PWT cast, or the Pro Wrestling Tees cast, hosted by Scrupp, who is my buddy. And I have now been on 2, well, as of when this is posting, 2 episodes of his. And it's just so awesome. I was just explaining to Tina actually how we kind of met. And if you should go listen, I'm like, I need to link the episode of the last episode I was on with him. He explained how he found like me and our podcast and how him and I kind of collaborated with it. So just a big shout out. I got this zip up. I am a slut for a zip up. All right. I really am, because I'm not, if anyone knows me personally, I am not a hoodie gal. I don't like, this takes a lot, dude. And I don't like stretching freaking fabric over my face. There's going to be bronzer on it. There's going to be foundation on it. I'm going to mess up my hair. My glasses are all funky. No. This is why I'm a slut for a zip up. So got this. He threw in some extra stuff. He gave me a Christmas card. Like, so fucking cool, right? Like so sweet. Yeah, Christmas card also, like wrote a heartfelt thing. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
It's just so thankful to Scrump and Drew also for being such like badass, like just podcasters in general. Like he just like knows how to keep that shit going. Like anytime I do an episode with him or both of them, like it's just the vibe is there, the motion is there, like it's just so like I have a great time joining them or just joining him. But yeah, just big shout out we're gonna link everything for you guys, so you guys definitely need to give it a listen. They mainly do, well, not mainly, but there's a wrestling portion. If you guys are big like wrestling fans, definitely go give a listen. And then he also runs he runs his music box episodes, so he just talks music. And then they do a movie section also. So I think the episode of mine and his for Edward Scissorhands is dropping technically today, even though it's the day before. Every time I like talk podcasts, I'm all like, oh, it's today. I'm like, no, it's dropping tomorrow. It's that little mindset. But yeah, so anyway, I mean, I link this stuff and share it along with you guys as it gets posted. And so actually, no, I saw the other day, I went to go look online, and I saw that one of my comic buddies followed their podcast, and I was like, hell yeah, love making that connection for them. So yeah, just wanted to give a shout out to them. Love you guys both, Drew and Scrump. It's been a blast collaborating with you guys. Hopefully we can get Tina on, and all four of us, or all three of us can have a fun broad broadcast moment together. I think that'll be really freaking cool. But yeah, so I am super excited for the future and for watching the podcast grow and collaborating with people. Oh yeah, another one's gonna drop too. I just recently did an episode with the BFR podcast also, so excited for that episode to be coming out. I think it's coming out in the new year also, so it's an exciting time. We want to thank you guys so much. We are slowly getting to the end of season 2. We will be getting into season 3 very soon. I had a beautiful schedule. It got thrown off. Fuck it. Life happens. But we are on I don't even remember what episode this is. So it's season 2.
Episode 14.
Episode 14, titled The Fuck Buddy. We will have to graciously censor this name again. There's quite a few of that this season, but that's okay. But yeah, this one is titled The Fuck Buddy, and this was back in the 90s, so I guess fuck buddies have been around for quite some time. But yeah, let's get into this. We are now 4 episodes away from the season finale, so let's get into the episode.
Hell yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Okay, so for this episode, we have a big discussion about relationships and life patterns. So this can look a few different ways, like have you ever found yourself making the same mistakes over and over again, or encountering the same circumstances over and over again? It happens, and we're just kind of like wondering, is this something that we're consciously doing, unconsciously? Is this something that is happening to us, or are we doing it to ourselves, or both? We have some interesting adventures with all the characters this episode. So we have Carrie, who tries to make a relationship happen with her fuck buddy. So we're going to get into what a fuck buddy is and what that looks like, and can you stem a relationship out of one? We're gonna have Charlotte, who tries dating multiple men at the same time and in the same night.
Oh, so this is so un-Charlotte. So yeah,
it's a little messy for Charlotte, that's for sure.
Scandalous.
But we love Charlotte. And then Miranda dates a man who's mean to her. He's just like a mean man. And while she can't stand his anger, like in day-to-day life situations, she really likes it when they're in bed.
I mean.
Yeah. And then we have Samantha, who hears her neighbors having sex, so in return masturbates so loud that they can hear her.
Girl.
So we'll get into it.
We're gonna get into it. This is a really fun episode.
It really is, honestly. I feel like it's one iconic episodes. Like, some of the most iconic outfits of the series are in this episode. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I have one specifically. It's funny because it's
I do
technically an
too.
outfit, but it's not technically an outfit, but I love it.
No, the one that
But
I'm thinking of gets a little showtime inside of and just like that. Is that the one you're thinking of?
no, I'm
Yeah.
thinking of something completely different.
We'll
So
get into
we'll
it.
see.
Okay.
We'll see when those pop out.
Exactly. So we start this episode off with Carrie running into Skipper.
Oh, Skipper
I
returned! I totally forgot.
Skipper. And
Oh my god.
not gonna lie, if I'm not mistaken, this is his last episode.
I think so. We mentioned
Yeah.
it a while back and we were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I think this was Skipper's exit." And you were like, "No, no, 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 no.
No,
He
he
comes
comes
back in
back.
season 2
Yeah.
and this is it."
Poor Skipper. I want Skipper to come back for and just like that. I want to see him
Me
now.
too.
What's that?
I
Okay.
want to see Skipper and who is there? There was another one I wanted to see. I can't remember. Actually, kind of all of them. Well,
Amelita.
Amelita,
We want to
and
see
then I'm
Amelita.
not going to get ahead of ourselves, but one of Carrie's exes.
We shall see. Okay.
Yeah.
So we see Carrie and Skipper and they run into each other, and we find out that he was just broken up with again. So we do have a montage of women breaking up with Skipper in this scene, and they're all basically saying the same thing. And each woman is saying a variation of like, "You're really sweet, and it's not anything you're doing wrong. We're just in different places." And the timing's wrong. I need to focus on my career right now. I feel like I need to spend time alone. I don't have anything to give you right now. You know, like these are the things that he's hearing from all of the women, including Miranda. And
Yeah.
so yeah, like that's really
At the end of
shitty.
the day, though, that can all be 100% true,
What do you mean?
but it's okay because it can be seen as an excuse, right? It's like the whole,
Oh yeah.
it's not you, it's me. However, I have seen where that could genuinely like be the case. Like I feel like I'm not, I feel like I'm at a point where I can't be in a relationship, and it's not essentially the person. It's really just the moment. Because I recently, this year, had to do the same kind of conversation and had to go through a breakup over genuinely like, hey, I have a lot going on, or actually, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I just know like right now, I can't be a partner. And it wasn't the person, it was really just kind of a moment in my life. However, I do feel like that's usually a huge excuse for like, it's not you, it's me, right? Oh, I'm busy. I'm
I
busy
feel
with work.
like yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you meet someone. I'm the busiest I've ever been in my life. But you meet someone and you make a big sacrifice for having someone in your life. And I feel like that's also a thing too. When you meet someone you want to make it work with, you're like, yeah, I'm super fucking busy, but like, what are we
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, because it's like the whole if they wanted to, they would thing too. Like, I don't know. Personally, I feel like that it can be valid sometimes, but I feel like in this scenario, it's like these are the things that you say when you're like incompatible with the person, but you don't want to like
Mhm.
acknowledge that. And I feel like people really dance around that, like this like
Yeah.
unrequited love topic,
Yeah.
because it's like you don't want to hurt their feelings, but also if you were more direct, it would like rip off the band-aid, you know? And I feel like that's kind of like that pattern that he's in. He's like getting into all these relationships where it's
Mhm.
like just not there. Like that little spark that needs to
Yeah.
happen is just not
I
there.
feel like women more so do the whole like they try to not hurt feelings,
Yeah, because
you
women are
know?
that way, you know?
Well, we didn't have to take it there.
I mean, it's true though.
No,
Like,
I know, and I don't mean
there's
to laugh, but it was just a
no,
big turn.
no, it's just like, I've definitely been in scenarios where like I felt like I couldn't say no, you know? Um, and,
Yeah, you know what? I guess it kind of stems from there too. A fear
and
of
yeah,
not rejection, but retaliation.
retaliation. Yeah, and it's, like, not even necessarily in every scenario, like, they're gonna hit or something or scream or whatever. It can just be, like, you don't wanna hurt the feelings and, like, you don't want them to have a
Hmm.
reaction and stuff, but, like, I don't know. I do notice with all these women, one, they're all gorgeous, by the way. I don't know how Skipper does it and pulls these, like, baddies in, but, like,
A bad guy.
he's
He's he's
not.
a he's a very sweet guy with a great
Yeah.
job, a great head on his shoulders. He may be a little insecure because I feel like maybe past experiences, but
Yeah.
all around not a bad guy. But I think that's kind of the
No.
trope, right? Because it's like
I
he
do
is
he is
genuinely safe.
but I do think he is the nice guy trope that was so heavily played in the 90s, you know?
I do think so too.
And I think that the character himself is a great character. I love him. I think he's so sweet, you know, like and all that, but like I also think that he's kind of like the whole nice guy thing, you know? Like but he's a nice
Yeah.
guy. Like I don't know. But I also okay, so they're talking about this. We go over the montage and then what he's saying to Carrie after the montage is these women wait for me to get comfortable and then they come in with the ice pick in between my eyes. You know what I mean? Like they're waiting for
Yeah.
me to get comfortable. But personally, okay, we didn't see what happened with those other women, but we did see what happened with Miranda. And at what point did that relationship look comfortable? I never saw a moment where they were both just genuinely like being happy.
Oh yeah, Miranda and Skipper. No.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't
No,
think
because they were into
they
each
weren't.
other.
And it was not actually compatible. And I, as much as he wanted it to be like, you know, she's
Yeah.
beautiful, she's successful, but it just wasn't there. And so for him to be like, you know, everything was great, and then she came out of nowhere with this, I feel like that's like, I don't know if that's that like glow that happens when you're really into somebody and you just see all the red flags as pink, you know, or
The
what.
rose tinted
Yes,
glasses.
with the rose tinted glasses or what, but like I just don't think that that's the whole truth, you know? I don't think
Yeah.
that everything was, it's kind of like in 500 Days of Summer too, where he's like, everything was great. Why'd you do that? She's like, we're fighting all the time. What are you talking about? You know?
Ooh, that would be a good just I that's also a great movie to
Yeah.
analyze if we ever did
If
a
we were just did
podcast.
movies.
You know what? Hold up. Scrump, where are you? Because have you
That's
done
the
500
episode I
Days of
want to be
Summer
there
yet?
for. You hear that, Scrump? I want to do 500
Scrump, we're
Days
gonna
of
do
Summer.
that one if you haven't done that one. Because we talked about it. He already did Little Miss Sunshine, which is my favorite movie ever. And I
Do
was
it
like,
again.
fuck.
Do it
But
part
if
two.
he has yeah, right. If he hasn't done 500 Days of Summer, we should get on that.
Boom.
That's a
Do it.
good one to analyze.
So that's kind of my take on that. I just yeah. But okay, so we go back to like let me see. Oh, Skipper's just basically kind of generalizing women. He's like, this is what women do. And that's a dangerous game, but like granted, we've all been there. You know, we kind of all do that.
Men and women do that. Men
Yeah.
and women
It
do
just
that,
yeah.
especially now too. Women do that a lot also with men, and it's like
That
because
yeah.
unfortunately it's usually the majority.
But Carrie tells him that it's not all women, it's the women that you're attracted to. So here
Mm-hmm.
she is pointing out, like, you have a pattern, you know? That's his pattern. He, you know, and it's clear to both of them, he's a sweet guy who's perpetually attracted to women who are looking for jerks. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that.
Yeah.
And that is a thing. That is a thing. And I think that happens
Women
both
do it
ways.
too.
Men do it too, I think.
Men and women. That's what
Men,
yeah, like women and men do the same shit.
exactly. So we go to the next scene. And we have Miranda and her jerk, Kevin.
So I was
So
like, what's his name?
his name's Kevin, and they're walking home after a movie together. I personally love Kevin. He makes me laugh so hard. Like I love hate him. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But he's another lawyer. So he's a lawyer just like she is, except he is going into a promotion soon. He's trying to get a promotion to become a partner at his law
To be
firm.
a partner. Yeah.
Yes. And they met because they got into an argument in court.
Honestly, that's
That is so
so
hot.
hot.
Yeah, I would be, yeah. Yeah.
That
But
would win me over like that.
yeah, yeah, same. Um, but they
This is our fire sign shit popping out.
yeah.
We're like, argue with me.
Yeah.
You and I both are
Tantalize my
so
brain.
in I think fire signs are naturally, obviously, like side note, we're very intense. Fire signs are very passionate. We are very intense. We are very loud. We're very like
Are. You know,
kind
sometimes
of
I
people
swear to God, her and I have to disclaim to people that we're not fighting with each other. So when we're
all the
like getting
time.
really into what we're talking about, like, and we have to like turn because other people will be
Or
like,
even just like direct, like one will be calm. Like it happened at your party the other day. I was all like, nah, because fuck that, and blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm not yelling at her. And I was like, I want everyone in this room to understand. I was like, this is just the
that
way
we
we talk
thought,
to each other.
and it's not even like a fuck you. It's just like fuck the world. I don't know. It's we get
Yeah, because I'll be like addressing something about you or whatever. I'll be like, well, that's stupid fucking and I'm like, I go off, and then everyone's like, they do the Kermit stare or like that. Have you seen that where they all turn to look at something? The
oh.
Muppets are all. I'm like, that's what everyone does, and we're all just like, everyone's fine.
It's like what?
It's
But
just fire signs popping the fuck off.
exactly. And we love a fire sign pop off. Especially I think it's still
Weird.
Sagittarius season.
It is. Oh, we forgot. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Tina had a birthday. I don't know if you wanted to talk about it, but oh well, I posted it. I was all like, oh well. I was like, we're wishing this broad a very happy birthday. But yeah, Tina just had a birthday.
I did
Yay.
have a birthday
Everyone
at the
say
end of the
happy.
year.
Everyone say happy birthday again. Now that we're already in halfway through December.
No,
But
seriously.
no, it's exciting. It's good.
It
It's
is.
you and I have now both had a birthday on the podcast. Isn't that crazy?
That is kind of crazy. Now that I think about it. Wait till we have our second one. It's gonna be
Next year for you is going to be, never mind.
shut up.
I don't know if you want to talk
No, I'm just
numbers,
kidding.
but
No, you're good. Yeah, next year I'm gonna be 30.
I think I'm going to cry. I'm
Uh,
so excited.
I'm excited. I don't know. It's a one door opening, one door closing kind of
Yeah.
works.
I
But
think it's a really cool, I think like just side note too, like I just think doing this and being where we both are kind of right now is like, this is the stuff we like
dream.
envisioned and dreamed about that we never really thought, like we never really knew what was going to happen. You know, her and I both have dreams and goals obviously, but you never really know where the fuck life is going to take you ever, like, and it's just really
That's
kind of,
I'm like beekeeping now too on the side.
yeah,
Like we
like
was
we both like are falling into things and you're discovering things and going on to new chapters and so am I, and it's like we never thought, like we would theoretically, like, again, I always take it back to the trampoline.
I
Her
had
and I
a
would lay,
trampoline in my backyard growing up. It was like there for a million years. You couldn't really jump
and
on
we'd
it 'cause
lay
it was
on
so
there.
cold.
Yeah, you couldn't
But we
jump on it, but
no, but we'd
we'd
lay
lay
on
back
it.
there and it was cold. I remember it'd be cold as shit. We'd go lay on the trampoline and just
Like
talk about like the future, and like, oh, we were big future talkers, and I think it's because both of us were in scenarios as teenagers where we felt so kind of like trapped, and I think we were both so excited to be adults and to be our own people, and the fact that we're here now, oh, I'm gonna cry, like, it is very cool being an adult and doing those things with the person we talked about, we talked with, and here we are, and it's very beautiful and kind of just like heartwarming and wholesome
it really
in the
is.
gayest way possible, but
I
it's just
love
really
you.
cool. Yeah, I love you too. I know. It's like, I mean, the whole concept of the podcast is that, you and I are each other's soulmate, and we bring it back into the show. And, we talk about the show so much, but the whole concept of the show is that, like, we have each other and we're running it as you and I. And, I don't know. I'm very happy that, like, we started this, and this has been a very, I think, trying year for the both of us. And the fact that we've both accomplished so much and done so much in this time frame, I think is insane, and we've done so much in such a short period of time. And I'm just very grateful for you. I'm very grateful for everyone who's been very supportive, and just everything in this year has been a lot. It's been a year. That whole TikTok trend of, like, if January me is talk to December me, that's crazy. That's a crazy
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, the things I would tell her.
The things, she'd be it, she'd be real happy. No, seriously, if you told January Bella the things that she has in December, I'd be like, you're high as a kite. I'm like, there's no
That's
way.
besides the point.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just playing.
But yeah, anyway, back from our sob story. We haven't done the podcast in like 2 weeks, okay?
Podcast. That's right. Yeah, we're catching you guys up. Yeah.
Yeah, we're catching you guys up.
Yes.
But yeah.
It is really great being 28 and now 29 with the person you were fucking 14 and 15 with.
Yeah.
It really is.
What's funny? I'm like, we're just side noting. Today I caught myself doing the very thing that our friendship got based upon, and is because I was out. I have a new job, FYI. After whatever, anyway, life. I have a new job. I've been at orientation all week, and I'm a big loner. Like, aside from my, like, 2-3 friendships, that I have, but I found I was like, going to go to lunch. I have no problem going by myself, but I found myself waiting for the group of ladies that, like, I kind of talked to, and they're like off talking to, and then I, like, was waiting outside until they were done clocking out, and then they walked in. They're like, "Come on, Bella," and I was all like, "Okay," and like that was how her and I became friends, because I just, what I don't know, it was more so like, I'm not going to be rude. I'm not going to just leave you here. Like,
Yeah, we were in the locker room in high school and we had PE together and she waited for me to get dressed, like to get ready.
because it was just you and me in there too, I think,
Yeah.
right? And I think I just was like naturally kind of like, oh, like, I don't want you to be alone. Like, like,
Yeah.
I'll wait for you and then we'll head out. And
No, I immediately, when I saw her the first time, I was like, I want to be friends with her. It was like that kind of like friendship
it's
at
so
first
funny.
sight, you know?
And it's so funny too, because mine was so different. Because, like, you're not like in a bad way, but you're a very lively person. You were very, like, and me, I'm a lot more like closed. Like, I led with a lot of anger when I was a teenager. I was a very, like, typical kind of, like, fuck you teenager. I was like an anarchist by heart. But and you came in very lively and very bubbly and very bright, and naturally I was like, and I don't want to say this, it doesn't sound like offensive. It was very, like, off-putting, but not in like a derogatory way. I was just kind of, it was like I had to just take a step back. I had to just be, I was just like, that's a lot. I was like, it's a lot for me. But then I got to know you, and, like, out of the whole group, I got to know you, and I was all like,
That one.
and it just yeah, it was just like, there was no precursor, there was no nothing. It was just like, it was a click. There is no other way. I guess it's kismet. And I'm a religious / spiritual person, I do, if anyone's ever curious, like, I believe in God, but, like, that's it. But I do believe that God puts people in your life for a reason, and I think there's some times where things are taken out of your control. And I do think you have free will for the majority, but I do think some things happen on like a playlist. I do think that you specifically were meant to be in my life. And I think that's just me. That's me and my belief system. But yeah, that's kind of like that's exactly how our friendship came to be. So yeah, but I found myself like doing that today, and I was all like, oh, I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also like I never want people to feel alone or excluded, you know.
Yeah, that's bullshit. You should always be there for people, especially when they don't know what's up.
Yeah, especially as a scared 14-year-old girl in a new high school.
Yeah. Those shoulders.
I was the brawn. I was I was the muscle back then. Everyone was scared of me. I was like, I'm not
I feel like
mean.
I softened you. I was like,
You did. You did. I mean, I mean,
here and there. But like, I
for the
didn't
most
dull you.
part. You know what?
I softened you, but I didn't dull you. I appreciate
Oh
your
yeah.
care.
Yeah, I had to chill out. I've chilled out now.
But I have an appreciation for fire. And I think that's also why I like Kevin. Like Kevin's an asshole, but like I like his
I
fire.
think yeah, I can
No,
see that.
I like that kind of like intensity in people. I like intensity. I like, and that's what I like
100%.
about you. Like you very often in my life have got me to do things that I could have never done on my own. And it's not things that they're things that I wanted to do. And, you've
I
always been
think
that kind
that's
of like push to like jump off the edge of the cliff,
yeah,
and go for it. And there are a lot of things in my life that I wouldn't have if I didn't have you. And I appreciate
100%.
the shit
I
out
think
of you.
same thing too. A lot of the times where I'm having a hard time rationalizing, I'm like, I have to go to you to be like, all right, set it to me straight. What should I do here? And I just recently made a big decision, and oh, why am I wanting to cry?
That's okay.
I just recently made a big decision for myself, and I was like genuinely shocked at your response, but your response like helped me make my choice, and I was like, regardless of what happens, like I feel confident in my choice and what I'm doing with my life, and whatever happens, good or bad, I'm living my life for me, and you help me kind of just be like, that's all you're doing. You're at a point where your level of self-preservation is so high. Take the risk. And I don't know. Why am I so emotional? This is what happens when we take a break
You
from
know
the
what, y'all?
podcast.
Yeah, this is pent up podcast energy.
We have to stop taking breaks. That's
Yeah.
what's happening.
Gotta keep it up like therapy.
No, I think I think this for you and I is actually very therapeutic.
I think
It really genuinely helps kind of us like we loosen up, we get to play around, we get to talk about things that are a little more risque, which like lets us loosen up, and and it keeps us going. And a lot of times too, you and I think both reference it, like I know, at least for me, I'll have conversations outside. I'm like, oh, I just talked about that in the podcast. I was like, that was literally last episode, we were just talking about that, and it just kind of helps us stay current and stay interactive, and yeah, and just kind of like what.
I think one of the dogs, or not one of the. I have one dog. I think the dog got upset. I thought I heard her bark. Sorry.
Oh, shush. Oh well.
Yeah, yeah. Shush. My dog's name is Shush. Shush.
The baby.
He is a baby. He's probably hungry. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, anyway, now that we've been fucking
Now that we've chatted about it.
Waterworks for the past fucking 15 minutes. What's wrong with me? I don't cry, especially on camera.
Really doesn't.
I
Honestly.
really don't. I just think
We needed this.
let's keep going because I'm gonna keep crying.
That's okay. Okay.
It's not okay. No, it is very okay to cry. Please cry, everyone.
Honestly. Like, okay, PSA to everybody, like, I think crying is good for you.
You
And
100% is
I'll
good for
tell
you.
her all the time, like, you cry. Let yourself cry. It's good to cry. Don't
Yeah,
hold it in.
I definitely.
But,
A week ago, I was sobbing for a different reason, but now I'm crying for another reason.
but no, like,
Anyway,
anyways, they're walking, Miranda and Kevin are walking home from a movie, and Kevin is like, they describe him as an anger professional. He's an anger professional. That's what he fucking does.
jeez.
And we hear him like complaining about the movie on their way home, and he's so fucking funny, honestly. Like, this guy cracks me up. He was like, because he didn't like the movie, and he was just like, yeah, it was great hearing that bus driver tell his wife about film theory the entire time. And like, he like says that one of the actors in the movie looked like somebody who walked into work right before the anesthesia wore off from his lobotomy. Like, that shit cracks me up
Clever.
so hard.
It's because
And he's
that's
so
it's
funny
'cause
and
that's very
clever.
clever.
And
Yeah.
all this negativity is just honestly bothering Miranda. She's just very much like not
Which is
having it.
crazy because she's the
She's
cynical
always,
one herself,
yeah, and
you
it's
know?
like she's not really able to like kind of like deal
Maybe
with
it's
the
because
other person,
she
being
right, maybe
cynical.
she can't deal with someone else being that cynical.
And he's even more cynical than she is. And I think that that's even bothering her because this, like, yeah, it's kind of like throwing her off a bit. She's very weirded with it. He even makes fun of her while she hails a cab for them to go back to her apartment. And he, like,
Is
he
he
does,
really?
yeah, he makes fun of
I don't
her.
remember.
And he, okay, this is where I draw the line with Kevin. He starts attacking her specifically. So
Oh,
like
that's
the
not
the
okay.
shit about the actor, like with the lobotomy, that shit cracks me up. But then he says something to the lines of like, uh like she's like, this is how you do it. He's like, yeah, in Never Neverland, where people mistake a complete lack of ability for charm. Like, he says something to those lines to her. He does,
Wow.
and that's where I draw the line. I'm like, okay, that's where I don't like Kevin. But she still goes home with him, and he like tell as she gets in the cab and everything, he's like, get in, sore loser. And we see them on the flip side of things go back to her apartment, and it's fucking hot, dude. Like, you could cook an egg on that surface. It's so hot. Like, he like pushes her up against the wall, and she does like he starts telling her what to do, and she just does it. He's like, put your hand
Well,
on my head.
let's be real. A
You
woman in
know,
power loves to be told what to do in the bedroom.
I
When
yeah,
you are
and
barking orders or you are in charge of shit, the last place you want to be in charge of shit is the bedroom.
it really is. And I think people have naturally really, I don't know, what you like in bed and sex and that kind of realm. I feel like it's so interestingly entwined with what you do and don't like in your day to day life. And we'll talk more about that in the episode, but I think it's like a really
Yeah.
cool, like, I don't know. This is a really cool topic. But it's like they're not super compatible in like the real world where they're fighting all the time, but they are extremely compatible in bed.
Which happens.
Shit, like, yeah. You ever experienced that? Um
Uh,
so
yeah.
yeah.
There's been
So
people where I'm like, I hate them. And they're like, aren't you fucking them? I'm like,
mhm.
no.
I know you like someone when you're like, I fucking hate him.
Listen,
Look.
we're moving on.
Okay,
Look.
here we go. So next scene, we have the four broads at a picnic, and I'm just gonna get this out of the way. Whoever designed Miranda's
Oh my
outfit
god.
literally fucking hates her. I see this shit and I cringe. I'm sorry, I cannot stand this outfit. Is honestly my least favorite, one of my top 3 least favorite for Miranda in the series. Um and it's all because she has like a little like hoodie on, and she has a hat. She has the hoodie on and a hat over the hoodie.
Yeah, she's wearing a bucket hat over a hoodie.
What the fuck is that?
I think it's very 90s.
Is it? I've
Um,
never seen anyone else do that
I
anywhere
mean,
else
so
ever.
I think it was like more of a windbreaker. It was either a windbreaker or like a hoodie. And then it was the bucket hat. And I think it was maybe practical, but then I don't know because Carrie's wearing this little frilly like
That's what I'm saying. Like you look at the rest of them and not like it's not that cold. And her sweater isn't. It's more of like an athletic sweater too. It's not even like
you
a
know,
sweater.
maybe she wants to feel comforted and like held because she's going through a hard time with her
You know
psycho
what?
ass dude.
That's probably it. So Miranda tells them about Kevin, and she just kind of tells them, like, it's weird that he tells me to do things in real life and it drives me crazy, but when he tells me what to do in sex, it really drives me crazy. Like, she really likes it. And she asks, like, isn't it funny that what I hate in life, I love in sex? Which is interesting, you know? Like, for
That's
example,
usually how it
like,
goes.
I will fight somebody if they try to lock me in a room. Do not fucking try to lock me in something. Do not take away my
Yeah.
money. Do not fucking do that to me. I will fucking fight you. But I like being tied up,
What are my things?
you know? Like, I enjoy that. But I also have a very deep sense of trust with my husband. And it's fun, you know? And I don't know.
No.
I totally feel that. It's like what I don't like in real life, I like in sex. And to our listeners
That's
out there,
typically what happens though.
does anybody have any examples
Yeah.
of anything that
I
you can't do
we're
this in life, but you'd like it in sex?
we're always asking for kinks. And
Please, always.
when I yeah, when I was on the BFR podcast, they asked they asked about our podcast and they're like, what do you want, like, in the coming or year and whatever. I was like, more interaction. We're
Engage
always
with us.
throwing engagement, we're always throwing out questions, and if you guys are listening,
Thank you.
thus far, thank you for one. But no, we really want the engagement. Like, we're really genuinely curious. I get a lot. It's funny too because I'm like, throw a comment, please, because like I'll be talking to people outside, and and like it's mainly in like the comic community, and they'll be like, "Oh, I heard what you said." I'm like, put a comment, put help me,
It's like a
yeah,
heart.
help the algorithm. But no, I get it. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you're just like you exit out or whatever. You're just listening like on spot. A lot of times too. I think what it is people listen on Spotify and like they're listening. They're like, yeah, I listen to you in the car. I listen to you here. And like on YouTube is where you can more so comment. Spotify, you can throw comments. You can. It's just rare. But yeah, no, we put a lot of platforms too, like Instagram and stuff also. But no, I love the engagement. We love the engagement. I think that's just why more so, we did this too. Where I'm like, I'm curious, and I think we just wanted to give a platform too where I think you and I both feel very passionate about letting people have a voice regardless.
Yeah.
And I think that's just where we are too. If you guys, and that's why we say like anonymously too, send us a DM, personally, either, Tina or I or the podcast page or, oh, I guess like anonymously is hard if like, you know what I mean though? Like if you're
We're not
comfortable
gonna,
to talk to either
yeah.
one of us or whatever.
We're not gonna throw any names out, like, pretty much ever, unless you're like, put my name on this, then we'll do that. But like, otherwise, we're
You know
not
what we
gonna do
should
that.
do?
But
I should figure out how to do an anonymous form for, oh, there is. Hold on. There is a platform where you can anonymously send questions and things too. And I did it a couple of months ago with just my personal page. I should start doing that for the podcast.
Boom. There it is.
I just realized that. Or we can always drop an email and you guys can send an email. Like, some people have like fudge emails and like I'd never know who it is. So I can always drop our email. Actually, if you're curious, I'm just going to say it on here too. If you guys know, it's just eachothersoulmate@gmail.com. So thankfully that domain was not taken. But yeah, if you ever want to shoot us an email too or whatever, we're at eachothersoulmate@gmail.com. But yeah, no, we really love the interaction. We're very curious. I think we're just horny. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I mean, honestly, always.
Aren't you?
Let's be real. Oh, yes. Like, no, for real.
Them.
Oh.
Aren't y'all?
Aren't y'all? It's a problem. I have a problem.
Yeah.
A problem. I'm over here sitting I'm supposed to be training at work on serious topics, and I'm all like thinking about last night. Girl, head it out. Head it out. You got a job.
But yeah. So Samantha asked Miranda, what if you limit your time with him to just sex?
Hello.
But Miranda's just like, honestly, she talks kind of shit about it. She's like, that's a nice, healthy relationship. Like, all bitchy. Honestly, I didn't like her tone when she said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's, yeah. So, and she said, I'm not ready to give up on him. That's fair, though. He's going through a stressful time. Maybe after he makes partner at his law firm, he'll settle down.
That's always tricky.
I gotta say, dude, if you're waiting for some event to happen so that somebody will change, like, significant core values of themselves, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
most likely. You can
definitely.
There's definitely like intent. There's definitely when you're under stress, you do change. Your personality changes,
Yeah.
but so I do feel like people naturally wait that stuff out, whatever. But there's some things, if it's constantly like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Ugh, I don't know.
yeah, that's not fun. But Carrie slips into the conversation and she says, maybe you should just face the fact that you're attracted to angry guys.
Okay,
And I want to pause right here, right? So, granted, Carrie and Skipper were friends. She was the one who introduced Skipper to Miranda, right? All of that.
Mm-hmm.
At no point does Carrie mention that she ran into Skipper.
Dude, you're so fucking right.
And I feel like this was a dig at her over what happened and how Skipper was feeling.
But she's the one who fucked. Dude, remember, she verbalized, she goes, it would have been, it's a disaster.
Waiting to happen.
Yeah, a disaster.
She immediately knew it wasn't going to work out. She said it herself.
Yeah. Carrie's a shit, dude. Sometimes Carrie's
a shit.
No, a shit. Yeah. Let's be real. The majority of the time, Carrie's a shit. And guess what is happening right now lately? Popping off on TikTok. How cringe Carrie is again. It is popping off right now about.
It's hot.
That has been going around so much. And I'm just like.
The ones that I've been seeing are the disappointed looks on Big's face.
Big's face?
I'm sorry. Okay, we gotta focus.
But here's what's crazy is like we've already covered all of these episodes thus far.
Yeah.
But it's so true. We're just looking back and it's so cringe. And we say that. How many times have we said cringe warning about Carrie? It's funny. This isn't the first time Carrie's popping up. Oh, it's not the first time she's popping up in the episode. It was the first time she's like essentially talking to the girls. Yeah. And that's what's crazy too, because true friends, and we know this, true friends, you spill immediately. We're like, Guess what happened? Guess who I ran into?
I'm calling you, like, as I'm driving away, you can hear the ring, like the ring going as I'm
Yeah, you
calling
start
her.
to hear the
Yes.
brrr in the fucking Bluetooth,
Yeah.
dude. For
Oh
real.
my God, seriously.
That's why I have to be careful pulling up places sometimes. I'm like, if you're still talking, I'm like, I'm gonna slowly pull into the
The
drive.
things that the drive-through people have heard me say.
The curbside on curbside.
But okay, so Carrie says maybe you should just face the fact that you're attracted to angry men, and Miranda comes in and is like, hold the phone, like, what about Skipper? You know? And Carrie says that it doesn't count because she broke up with him, and that fits her pattern. So now Carrie brings in the topic of patterns to the other broads. And, we have Samantha coming in. She's like, I don't have a pattern. And Carrie says in math, randomness is considered a pattern.
Oh yeah, I remember her saying that.
I do kind of, I don't know. I
Which
know
is
that is
true.
probably like a dig, but I do think that one was kind of like, I like that. That's a good way to kind of summarize
Because
Samantha.
it's true. Yeah,
She's
it's
random,
true.
but she kind of like, she does what she wants. And then Miranda and Carrie gang up on poor little Charlotte, and they're like, you have an obvious pattern with Charlotte. She's like, what? And they say that she waits for the perfect guy and the perfect date, and then she projects a huge fantasy on him, which ends up blowing up in her face. Do you think that this is them dogging on her for having high standards?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it's both because on one end, yes, sometimes you set it here and you need to be a little reminded that people are people. And it's hard to sometimes compromise and negotiate and have people in your life, and that they might not fit your fantasy or fit your ideal. And then it is also, I think, like a little dig because what she's essentially doing is respecting her boundaries and views. And I think some people naturally have an opposition to that because they are a little more self-destructive, or they are a little more like, I don't care as much. Like, let me just roll with it. But yeah. But it's like, I feel like, I mean, Charlotte equally, I think, dates as much as the other girls. It's just on her own kind of like
You
pattern.
think so?
You know what I mean? Yeah, I do. You're kind of constant. She's still constantly dating throughout the show. We
She
do
is.
still see her like going on a date, meeting someone, going on a date, meeting someone. Like rarely is she, because she's not, and we know Charlotte, she's not comfortably single.
No,
She wants to get married.
yeah.
Remember, Charlotte's the driving force. Like, she wants to be married. She wants to get that. So she's going to have a little more initiative for dating. Carrie and Miranda may so date more for sex. She's dating more so for marriage. So she's getting in there.
Yeah, there really is a difference when you're dating for marriage versus sex.
I like a combination of both myself.
I'm not saying one is better than the other.
No, I
Like, they
know.
definitely, like, you do what you feel is right, whatever fits your preference. It's just
Yeah.
like the dynamic is really
But
different.
this is where we go into the episode we'll see in a little bit where
Yeah,
Charlotte kind of discovers a new kind of world.
exactly. So Samantha suggests to Charlotte to start dating around a little bit more openly. Um, you know, so that if one doesn't work out, it's not so crushing. It's all about multitasking. And she says, none of us can afford to fall into this one man at a time pattern. And then she points at Carrie. She's like, look how much time he spent on Big. Because at this point, it's been like, what, 2 years?
About, right?
Yeah. And she was ecstatic to get an electric toothbrush head. He only
Ooh,
had
someone
one, and he gave it to her.
someone talked about that on TikTok. They were like, I know Carrie's bitch ass isn't over here getting hyped about a toothbrush again, or like something like that. And I was like, we just talked about that.
Exactly. So Carrie's like, well, you know what? Next time I meet a handsome, wealthy man in his 40s, I'll know what to expect. And Miranda's like, will you? Or are you just going to do the same thing all over again?
Yeah.
It's a fair question. So that night, Carrie goes home and is like, I wonder, are we all just victims of conditioned responses? Doomed to repeat the same unconscious relationship patterns? Were we, in fact, just dating the same person over and over again?
We can definitely fall into patterns.
And I don't know,
I
it's
think
interesting.
especially when trauma is involved or some kind of trauma on any level, I do think we go where we feel comfortable.
I think we
And
gravitate
then
towards what we know.
what's that famous quote from The Perks of Being a Wildflower? We
We
accept the
accept the
love
love
we
we
think
think
we
we deserve.
deserve. And I think that's a lot of that. I think if you don't have even myself, I have a very high level of self-awareness. Even with that, I be fucking up. I be throwing my shit right over there
I think we
sometimes.
talked about, the reason that Sex and the City is as big as it is, and the reason we love to hate Carrie, we've all been her.
100%.
We've all done it. We've
100%.
all gone out on a limb for someone who couldn't give a shit about us at some point or
Some
another.
people don't. I've met people who are like, "Oh, I could never. I've never done that." I'm like, "Oh,
Well,
how
good for them.
nice."
They just have
No, I
different lessons
know.
to learn, But
Yeah.
that's why I
We're
think Sex and the City is as big as it is that like I guess the majority of
I
us
think
can relate.
well, they create, the four girls have such different dynamics that I think everyone can relate to one of them in a certain aspect. Recently, I just had a male comic ask me, and he's like, he goes, "I am a straight man." He's like, "But like, should I watch the show?" And I was like, "Well, you should definitely watch the podcast."
Yeah.
But as far as the show, I was like, it's more chick geared, it's a little more girly. I was like, but it's not the worst in terms of like plot. And like, you get to know the girls or whatever. I'm like, you're going to love it or you hate it. It is
I'm
more
just
geared
gonna
towards
say
women.
every person that I've dated and had around a lot has always gotten into the show at some point or another.
Very true.
They've all also told me that at certain points when I'm not around and they think of me, they'll hear the dun 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 dun
Yes.
dun.
I remember specifically my ex telling me, he was like, he goes, you'd have the show on, we'd be in bed or whatever. You'd fall asleep. I'd still be up. He goes, and he goes, and it's still playing. He goes, I kept watching it. Cause I remember one time specifically he said something and I was just like, oh, well, his name's Stanford. He goes, I know who Stanford is. I was like, oh, what?
Okay.
But,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah, me too. It's been, oh, that's so funny. If I could get this guy to watch Sex in the City, that'd be interesting. But
You know who you are.
you know who you are. You have to watch one episode. That's what I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna be like, hey, you have to watch one episode to be able to be on the podcast.
Boom. And oh my gosh, we have this lady in her 30s, and honestly, she is life. So she says, well, I guess I've dated quite a few artists, but I don't think they were all the same person. Okay, yes, they were all narcissists with commitment phobias and substance abuse issues. But in my opinion, the painters were very different from the sculptors.
I'm sorry, I feel attacked right now.
I love her. And then we have another lady. She's just like,
Hold on.
um,
Okay. Anyway, yes, let's just move forward. We're moving forward. The substance abuse is anyway.
we have the next lady. She's like super waspy, and she's like, I like handsome waspy assholes who treat me like shit.
I don't think I've ever dated a wasp.
I
No.
am so not into
We live
that.
in San Antonio. It's kind of
There are
hard.
wasps in San Antonio.
Yeah.
But they're like San Antonio. I don't know.
Okay, but rarely is anyone actually ever Protestant. Almost everyone in South Texas is Catholic. And if
Yeah.
not, they're Christian.
Or Mormon.
Yeah. I've never dated someone who's Mormon. It's so funny.
Nothing. It should be an interesting time. Like, have you know what? Let's not even go into the last one we have is a boy who's about 15 years old, and he says, I only date girls with Sony PlayStations or breasts.
I have
Dude, but
both.
he's talking about the OG original Sony PlayStation. Do you have one? Yeah.
I used to have a
I had
2.
a two also. You know.
I now have a 4
I got a
and a
GameCube.
5.
I did
Yeah,
get
you just
a
recently got a GameCube. But yeah, I am a PlayStation girly. I used to play Xbox when I was a kid, but I am a PlayStation girly through and through. And I
I
most
did
definitely
too.
have breasts. I wish, you know what's funny? I feel like that sometimes is enough for men who aren't
You know,
15.
gets yeah. uh,
Little Fall Guys, little Fortnite, little COD.
that's
Say it,
true.
baby.
My husband and I were playing Mario Kart the other night. It was pretty sick. Yeah, that's a vibe.
Love.
Yeah. Uh, okay, so that night we have Samantha in bed, and she hears her two neighbors that she hasn't met yet. They just moved in recently, and she's in her bed, and she like has this. Honestly, her bedroom is gorgeous. Like it's very like
Oh, I
regal.
love,
Yeah,
yeah, like all of her
yeah.
decor and furniture.
It's very pretty. And she has like one of those bed that has like four posts on it, and it's a huge thing. And she has this like gigantic mirror
Mm-hmm.
that is above her headboard that faces down at the bed. It's honestly so cool. And so she is in bed and she hears her neighbors on the other side of the wall because it's New York City having sex. And yeah, but the idea that like someone else having great sex right there and flaunting it was kind of like pissing her off a little bit. So in retaliation, she decided to rub one out really loud.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, no, she masturbated loud enough for them to hear. And they say in the monologue thing, I'm sorry, in the narration, they say that it fits Samantha's pattern, which is that she normally has a wall between her and the person she's having sex with.
Well,
You know?
it's pretty true.
So, next scene, we have Carrie at her apartment, and she's talking about all of the familiar patterns that she's doing herself. So, lately, she's been staying out until 3 a.m., sleeping until noon, ordering Chinese food from the same Chinese restaurant that she goes to all the time, and calling old friends who were always there for her when she was feeling restless. So she calls up John McFadden and asks him out for the evening after work, and he agrees. She's like, "Meet me at 6:30," and then they show the clock, and at 6:29, right when it turns to 6:30, her doorbell rings, and he's very punctual. Yeah, I like that.
Punctual.
Um, and he's coming into the apartment, and she's opening up a wine bottle, and honestly, her top here is so cute, like that baby blue top. 10 out
Yeah.
of 10. But she's opening a wine bottle, and he's like, mind you, it's 6:30. He's like, I have to be somewhere by 8:30. And she's like, oh, it's okay. I have to be somewhere by 8. And then she's like struggling with the wine bottle, but then she just like turns around. They make out, they do it. and it's no muss, no fuss,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fun and comfortable. He's very easy to be with.
Yeah, I guess when you if you have that person like what we're
Yes.
leading up to here,
Yep.
you can just fuck.
So this is somebody that she seems friendly with and she's very able to have sex with, which is yeah. So they finish having sex and they're having pillow talk and they're beginning to ask each other like
Mm-hmm.
about each other's lives lately and like they're kind of like asking like how's your brother doing in Orlando and he's like oh he's in Phoenix and like how's this going and it's like oh it's actually that they kind
Yeah.
of know each other not really like
Yeah.
they don't so
Yeah.
Carrie begins to realize that she doesn't have a relationship pattern, which I don't think is true, but she has an in-between relationship pattern. So the type of behavior that
Okay.
she has upon a breakup is consistent. You know?
Same. Typically, I give into a lot of my substance abuse
I
tactics.
feel like it's like, the phoenix. You gotta rise from your ashes. I feel like you gotta like kind of like go through some shit when you go through a breakup, because like especially if it was a long-term relationship breakup, because like you
I feel
are
like
definitely
my
going and
long-term
like
breakups have
replacing this
stemmed.
entire lifestyle that you've had for years and having to completely rewrite
Yeah.
everything. Like everything that you are going through is like you have to kind of rewrite your life. That it's kind of like the Stevie Nicks lyrics, like because I built my life around you, you know? And
Ooh,
so you
that's
kind of have to
powerful.
come back to yourself and kind of redefine like how am I going to do this next stage of my life? You know, how am I going to get to the next thing? Because it's no longer you and that person, especially if you're somebody like Charlotte who is like
It's just
dating to
you.
marry. So you have these intentions going into the situation of like this is
Yeah.
the future that I am building, and you start putting together this like idea of what your future is going to be, and you have to rewrite that. And especially if you're beginning to get like
It's
a little
hard.
up there in the years, like you're doing it again and again, and that can be traumatizing, honestly, because it's like you put so much trust into this, and you know,
You're
you put so
telling
much
me.
trust into the situation and then it just falls through, like the floor gives out from underneath you and you have to figure out where that next step is. And for me, I get the most anxiety with figuring out the direction of my next step. Like, because I feel like life is just so
Mhm.
limitless and all of its possibilities and vast that it's like
Vast.
it's like you make one step this way, you're not going this way anymore, and that other thing that you thought would be cool too is no longer an option, but that's besides the point.
But
Yeah,
that's not what it is,
yeah,
though. That's not what it is. Sometimes you can always revisit it. My breakups have led me
yeah,
to very
you know
significant things in my life. My first
that
big
was my
breakup, I
that
became a
I
nurse.
think that was the coolest thing, honestly. I tell people that to like inspire them to go to school. I'm like, like you can literally take all of that pent up energy into that, like that pain, and put that shit to work. Go to school and fucking like
Mhm.
do some like nobody can take away that piece of paper from you. And like that will open up doors.
This this last breakup I just had, I started a podcast and
Fuck
started my
yeah.
comedy career. And it wasn't, and that's the crazy thing about this breakup. It wasn't a traumatic one. I mean, it was very painful. It was hard, very hard. But it was something I needed for me. And that's hard too. And you go through kind of those things of like selfishness or, just that kind of happens. But it projected me into it's crazy because I told that person, I was like, I feel like I need to do this. Like I need do something and the things I've been needing to do, and for some reason I need to do that alone. And I did
Yeah.
it, and I did it. And that has some powerfulness to it, and it's kind, it's still kind of, it's sad. I
Yes.
don't, life
It's
just
like
happens,
they say, and
but
this is a quote from
um
later in Sex and the City, but they refer to one of Samantha's relationships and they talk about it saying that this might be from a movie actually. It is. Uh, the fact that this love story was a short story doesn't make it any less beautiful. And I honestly
yeah.
don't think
Oh
that.
yeah.
Okay, let me take a step back. I think that timing is part of the equation of a soulmate. And I do think that people can very much be compatible and be very much like there's nothing wrong with you two together. It just other circumstances in your life didn't line up and let that work, you know? And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, I
that while that
agree.
is still painful, you shouldn't feel guilty about that, especially if you like communicate it
Yeah, I
effectively.
agree. It's just hard. I just think it's a
Oh,
natural feeling to
absolutely.
have sometimes when you're going through those things. I struggled with that a lot in my last breakup. But it was really more so of kind of like a self-preservation. It was like I need I need this. It wasn't like a want. It wasn't like I was like
Yeah.
I need this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, here
and
we
here I am
are, almost
today,
done with
and
season
it's
2.
yeah.
And then we're on the 3rd
Yeah,
season.
and just
Then
with
we're on
life
the
in
3rd
general,
season,
and
and then when we're done with that, we're halfway done.
we're
Yeah,
when we're done with
that's
season
crazy.
3. Oh my god. I have a lot of people who ask, they're like, "So what are you gonna do when the show's over?" I'm like, we got 2
Yeah.
movies and a spin-off show, and technically, we
Yeah.
could do the Carrie Diaries. So
But don't
we
worry
have
about
plenty
that.
of
We'll be here.
content. I'm like it when we already spaced it out, it was gonna take us almost 3, do we say almost 3 years to finish even the series. I'm sorry, it's 90 something episodes. So if you just divide that into no, it's 2, right? 52 weeks in a year.
Sleeping.
So it's 2. So it's almost 2 years, right? Or I
We'll
guess with
figure it
spacing it
out.
out,
And
it's around
honestly,
2
with like
years.
breaks and shit, little vacations
We'll
that we
figure it
take,
out.
like,
Yeah, we take
yeah.
some breaks and stuff. So I think it's a little over 2 years for just the series alone. And then we have the movies, and then we have And Just Like That, which is now going to have a 3rd season that's dropping
And
in 2025. So that's even more episodes. So we're looking at a good at least 3.5 years kind of thing for the completion of Sex in the City as a whole. Even so, we got some time. Don't worry,
man,
guys.
okay. But yes, Kara realizes she has an in between relationship pattern. And she
Mhm.
realizes that she always goes back to John McFadden every time she has a terrible breakup. And she wonders why to herself that she's never considered him as a relationship. Like, she realizes I go to this guy
Because
every
it's
time
not.
these other guys break my heart. So why am I not truly trying to be with this guy? Which is interesting. So she asks him out for Friday night. She wants to actually go on a date with this guy and like see if she can make it work. She's trying to date her fuck buddy.
Interesting.
Interesting. So we have the next scene with the 4 broads at yoga, and we have Samantha coming in strong with a you can't date your fuck buddy. Can't do it. And she says, you are taking the one
Can't do
person in
it.
your life that is only there for sex and turning them into a human being. How dare you? And
How dare
Charlotte's
you?
like, what's a fuck buddy? I'm sorry, she doesn't say it like that.
This is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, she now learns that, like,
Yeah, she didn't
this
even
is an
realize that you could
option.
do this. And they tell her that a fuck buddy is somebody that you've probably dated once or twice, but it didn't really go anywhere. So, I'm sorry, but the sex is so good you keep them on call. So, maintain that relationship, but to like a surface level, this is what we're doing and nothing really outside of that. Um, and then Charlotte's like, so you just call him when you're horny and he just comes right over? And they're like, no, he has a life. He's a person.
They're all like, I
Yeah,
mean, it's not
it's not like
instant, but
dial a
like
fuck.
some
Like
of them
that's what
are
Skipper called Miranda.
dial a fuck.
That's a t-shirt right there.
Oh yeah. Hey, to be fair, some of them are, and I've been there too. I think we've all been in each
One
role,
or
so
the other.
maybe. But I'm all
But oh yeah, no, there's
I'm like, well, guys, we're cutting dinner short.
uh but yeah, they all say that they each have one, and Charlie gets curious.
I haven't had one in like so long. It's been almost 3 years.
Nice.
Yeah, almost 3 years. But then I was in a relationship, and then I was single, and now I'm in a relationship
Nice.
again. So
I've never had one.
yeah,
No, I'm not built that
not
way
once.
though. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
to each their own.
That's true.
No, yeah, like if that's your thing,
To each
dude,
their
look it
own.
up. Uh, after yoga, Charlotte gets coffee with a guy from class, the yoga class, and she asks him out. The first,
Which
I
is
think they say
rare for
that it is the
her.
first time in her life that she's ever done that. Go girl,
Girl,
all
I
they
feel
do
that
is
though, because you know more than anyone. I am not
we
I
don't.
don't
And
like
I am
taking the
so
lead
a
on
take
that
the lead
shit.
person when it comes to that. I have to be the one to ask you out because I don't. I I don't like the feeling
Mm-mm.
of like it feels like I don't know. I don't like the other way.
Like the idea. I'm like, because I'm like, I need you to come to me, because I'm like, what's the I can walk up to anyone in a bar and be like, you know, buy me a drink, and it's gonna work. That's easy. That's boring. I don't want that. I need someone who comes up to me and or like sees me and is all, you, I want you. And it works. It works because it
And
recently happened.
okay, to those listening, have you ever asked a man out? And have you ever asked a woman out? Have you ever asked a person out? But yeah, that shit's hard.
Yeah, because it's
And if
hard.
so, how do you do that? Because like,
Making the first move. Yeah. How do you make your first move? Well, hold on. Physically and
yeah, because I was
online.
gonna say
I'm
these days met
curious.
in a class, like a yoga class, which can still happen nowadays. So like maybe something like that, or online, you know? Because like I I
Yeah.
know a
That's
couple
the
that
majority right
is
now.
married that are so happy for like over a decade. They met on Omegle, you know? So,
You're
so it's
right.
possible. I've seen it happen. Um, I'm definitely not.
What if I married that Swedish guy that we met on
Please
Omegle?
don't. I know.
I'm just kidding. Whatever happened to that guy? I'm mad I don't have him on my. Oh, it was my old Facebook. He was
Oh,
a really good
I hope he's
friend.
okay.
I think he actually
What
got
do you mean,
married
though?
though. I'm just saying,
Oh,
like, I
when you
think he
said
got
though, it was
married.
like,
Like,
are you upset that he got married?
no, I was happy for my Swedish friend. I remember the only way I bonded with him was because I was like, he only really knew Swedish, but I knew Swedish because I don't know Swedish, but I
Cool.
know some words and phrases because I used to watch so much PewDiePie on YouTube when I was a
I thought
teenager,
about cute
and
pie
a
and
lot
so
of times
long.
while he
Oh my
was
goodness.
gaming, he would slip and talk and speak in Swedish. And so a lot of those things I learned from him, I was like, this is this word, right? And he'd be like, yeah. And I was like, that's so cool. So that was my
That's
Swedish friend on Omegle. Hopefully, I'm going to find him. I want to find this guy again.
so Bella and I,
Let's
I'm gonna
keep
make one
going.
more little side note before we continue. Bella and I used to work with this guy named Ricky, and he also did not speak English, and we had a very great relationship with this guy. So yeah, shout out to Ricky. I hope you're doing okay.
Ricky! Hold on. Ricky's probably still
But
doing good
yes,
too.
okay. So we have Carrie getting ready Friday night for dinner with John. And she wonders to herself, can, like, if Charlotte can do this and break her pattern, can I break my own pattern? So Carrie tries to start a relationship with John McFadden. And when John gets there, he thinks it's business as usual. So here's the thing about this plan of Carrie's, she's not communicating anything. So in the beginning, I don't think we really mentioned, but like they use going out and they make it seem like they're gonna eat dinner. They don't actually say they're gonna fuck, but like it's like implied in the way they're speaking to one another. Um she never undoes that and like says like, hey, like, do you want to like actually like, she just says like, hey, we're gonna go to dinner, and he thinks it's business as usual. And then he tries making out with her like they normally would, and she's pushes him off and is like, hold on, I have reservations for a sushi restaurant. And he's like, he starts licking his lips. He thinks that
Because
he thinks that she's talking about going down on her, and honestly, that is the funniest shit of my life.
however,
You
that's
know?
really hot too,
Yeah,
because he's all like,
yeah. And
yeah.
she's horrified. She's horrified. She says, I mean sushi, Japanese food. And I'm just like, girl, you're no fun. But if I don't know, if you don't like that, that's okay.
Girl,
But
come
like, I don't
on
know.
now.
I thought it was funny. But he's just really surprised that she's breaking their usual unspoken sex thing. Like, this is the way they normally do it. And I think that he's just confused and doing whatever she says at this point because he's confused and doesn't want to fuck everything up
Hmm.
because they seem to have known each other for a while. But,
Yeah, so
for
like this has been their
years,
pattern for years. So the fact that there's any kind of
it's like,
deviation is going to be a little
okay,
like,
but she's
what the
not
fuck?
communicating.
Yeah, without
Yeah,
any
she's
like
not
prior
communicating at
conversation.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't believe in therapy.
Right.
She's not communicating, whatever, right? But, anyways,
Yeah.
it's just a really awkward start to their date. And like, they get to the sushi restaurant and he orders teriyaki chicken well done at a sushi restaurant. Very clearly not into it. And, you know,
Okay, toddler palate. Nah,
you
it's all
know,
right. Everyone has their
I feel
preference.
like raw fish is one of those things where it's like, okay, like maybe, okay, whatever. I don't know.
I found the Swedish guy and he has a
Good
kid
for him.
now.
Clapping. I know the baby's cute.
Oh, it's a little Swedish baby. I'm
Huh,
all happy. I had to
she
find out.
had to.
I had to.
Okay. Where am I? Let me find my place. Oh yeah. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so I
Oh
don't
yeah.
they don't do this anymore, right? So like he hands her this card and he says this is for 40 minutes. Free long distance. This still
They
happens?
do.
This is still
Yeah, or like a prepaid. There are still prepaid phones, and I think there's still calling cards,
But he
especially
says long
internationally or
distance,
like long
continental
distance.
US. That's
That's
what I'm
weird.
saying.
Usually long distance is anything
That's what I'm
out of
saying. Yeah. So I
the
knew that that
states.
was still a thing where you had to like buy because it's like different, like, but no, it's like
Hmm.
constant. He says continental United
Right.
States, so I thought that was interesting. I don't. Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe that was
Yeah.
someone
So
would
if you
have to
know
educate
more about
us
that, let us know.
if that was a thing. Oh, it was. It was. It was. I'm remembering now because of movies. They're like, because in National Lampoon's European Vacation, Chevy Chase's character gets really pissed at his daughter. He's like, "Oh no, 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 that was international because she was in Germany and he was back in Chicago." And he was like, "Why are there all these charges to Chicago?" So hold on, that's still international. Anyway, someone would have to educate us if there was long distance in the
But he's
U.S.
giving her
back
this
in the
box,
90s.
and he's
We were too
giving
young.
her this whole spiel. So like what he does for a living is sell time. He sells these cars. He's like a salesman for these kind of things. And he's doing
Right.
his like gimmicky work stuff with her being super dorky, and she's just like really not into it. Mind you, she's into guys like Mr. Big who are like too cool for school, like shows up, doesn't say much, all that shit. You know, and this guy's being like goofy and he snorts when he laughs. Like it's like a whole thing. And she I do too,
Oh,
but
I
like
love
she's
that
not into
though.
it. And you know, I don't know. But after dinner they go back to her place and they fuck quick. And she's like saying like I have to get the stale taste of this night out of my brain, and like she wonders,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
and
ended on
she
a good
wonders
note.
if it's possible like to be so like compatible in bed but so not compatible in life, you know. And that's another like
100%.
example of that in this episode is like, you know, you relate to and communicate well in bed with this person, but like if you actually try to like go and have like hang out with them in a real life scenario, like in daylight, it just wouldn't work.
I remember one of the last fuck buddy I had specifically. I remember him like we hung out more than normal, and I remember we were in the car together and we were just talking and like having a conversation. He goes, "I really like nice Bella." I'm like, he's like, "Typically you're just telling me to take off my pants and then get out."
I love it. Honestly, it's a vibe.
This was a while ago, okay?
That's
The
a,
times were different. I was in a different spot
it's
in
okay.
life, okay? Yeah.
That night in bed, Samantha lights a joint and gets ready for her neighbors to begin having sex. So she says that they have sex every night at the same time, and she's ready tonight. And she again masturbates really loud while they're fucking. And she's louder than normal this night. And all of a sudden, she hears a on the door, and it's the neighbors from the other side, and she knocks back to them to like let her know that she's there too. And so she's made contact. Okay, has made contact with them
Yeah.
at this point, and they have now acknowledged that they can hear each other through this very thin New York City apartment wall. And honestly, it's a fucking vibe. You know, she's there in her bed, you know, having sex with herself and like simultaneously having sex with these people without even ever seeing them. Because honestly, this is what I meant by like maybe the like math is random comment was like, you know, we love Samantha. She goes on adventures with her sexuality.
Yeah.
So much fun. Um, but yeah, she smiles, continues smoking her joint, and finishes. Um, good for her. Yeah.
Hell
So
yeah.
later that
Hell
day, I'm
yeah.
assuming, I don't know, or the next day, I don't know, some dinner. We have the four broads, and Miranda's having them meet Kevin. So the angry professional guy, the lawyer that she's seeing that's mean to her but fucks her really well, is meeting all of her friends for dinner. And he's running late,
Mm-hmm.
and while he's running late trying to get there, they're all talking about Charlotte and what she's been up to with the guys that she's been asking out. So she tells everybody about how she started dating like they suggested. She actually filled up her calendar really quickly as well, even having to double book a night. Okay, so like we've
Ooh,
all kind of like
girl.
been in a period of our lives where we're just like dating around, like, right? Like you're like dating different people at the same time, like they overlap or whatever. Like, but nothing's like super like serious.
I have
Yeah.
rarely, me myself, and this is just me. I am naturally, as a Leo, I guess, a very loyal person. It is actually incredibly difficult for me to ex- like expand my
Well,
time on numerous people. It's
I'm not
actually
talking
very
about
draining.
like dating for that. Like just like hanging out with people, like seeing and like even that.
N- Even that, even that for me, incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult because I'm one of those like I have to vibe with you and if I like you, I'm not going to expend my energy on something else. It's very rare. I've had points in my life where like especially like with dating apps, right? I'm like, "Okay, yeah. I'm talking to like maybe 2, 3 guys at the same time where I'm like, this was a great conversation. Like I could want to maybe go on a date with 2, 3 guys, or like I've gone on a date with one, still talking to 2 other, like on a app kind of thing. Nothing serious at all. Um, but it's been very, very rare, very seldom in my life. It's just not something for me personally that I can toggle because for me, it's a waste of time. It's a lot of energy.
Um, I had a period of my life where I was single, and I went on very non-committal dates, just kind of like hanging out with people. I don't know. Uh, yeah, but that's how I dated.
But no, some people
And they're
totally can't.
just like, I don't know. I guess I
Yeah.
date like somebody from the 1950s or something. I don't know. Um,
No, casual dating is great. It's just I think it's because also I think you and I are different because typically I am also a person who essentially
yeah,
kind of dates to marry
I,
too. I'm not someone who typically is very interested in
yeah,
super casual things. The older I get, it's a little more like obviously with, naivety goes down and you're just kind of like, let's see where things go. The older I get, but thus far it's like, no, I'm dating because I want to have a relationship or something long term, and that's why a lot of times like if I met someone I was genuinely interested in, everything
yeah.
else shuts off. So I don't got time to balance anything else. And for me, just me personally, like I'm a very intense person. I can't spread that a lot. I can't. That's just me.
I just made memories with very nice people who I appreciate those
Hell
memories a
yeah.
lot. And I also
Having a hoe
I
phase
also
completely different.
wasn't the type to like date to marry either, which is funny saying that as a married person. I definitely fell backward into marriage, and I'm not saying that it was like a bad backward. It was like honestly amazing. I like met my soulmate, and that was it. Just knew,
Hell yeah.
I just knew. And that was my
Yeah.
scenario. But no, when I was a single person, I was very much more so just like a casual dater. Yeah.
I had a
Never
period
really
where
planning on
sexually
getting
it was
married.
everything was on the table. Dating is one thing, sex is another. And for a while there, I was all like, yeah, whatever. Completely different. I'm like, if I'm never going to see you again, I don't really care.
But okay, back to Kevin. We have him come in hot and intense when he finally does make it for the dinner, and he's like
Oh
honestly
yeah.
just like crazy energy. He comes in, he's like, hello, like to Miranda, and he says hi to the girls, but he has to like go and go take a phone call for work real quick. And he was saying like complaining about how like the driver was like crazy and like, you know, like fuck that guy and he has to go make a call for work. So and then he like yells at the waitress. He's like, "Waitress, draft beer here."
You want to know something insane? I rarely have triggers. Rarely. Um, the part what happens right now, he walks away. And then the waitress does bring a draft beer in a pint glass, and you see the beer run over the side of the glass. And Miranda starts cleaning the sides of the glass, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, and she's like, "Oh my god, like if he comes back and sees this glass there, he's just gonna go off on the waitress, and I just don't want it. I just don't want that to happen." That was an incredibly I rarely am I triggered by stuff, but every time I watch that episode now, for some reason, that one hits me because I had a big trigger of like I had to constantly anticipate someone's anger, and like my ass was not going to be the cause of it. So like, and it was especially specifically with food. So like if an order was messed up, even though it wasn't my doing, I got the backlash of it. And so specifically, for some reason, that scene specifically was very triggering because I was like, if there was like, if his order was 3 ranches and there were 2, you bet your ass I was going to hear about it. And like, it's crazy because he's not outwardly very aggressive, but sometimes as little as that,
Yeah.
it can happen. Yeah. And that's why I'm like, yeah, he's angry and some of it's hot, but some of
He
it can
crosses
get
the line
very,
in like a few different ways.
yeah, it can
Yeah.
get very uncomfortable.
Honestly, it's not fun being the yeah,
It's not fun
it
having to be
really
the
isn't.
peacekeeper.
Yeah. Um Next scene we have Charlotte on date number 1 and on her double
On
book.
her double
And
book.
honestly, I thought this guy was really cute. I liked him. I thought he was
Me
one of the more handsome
too.
guys that she's dated. Um, so
Agreed.
we find out his name's Eric, which love that name, right? Um, and they have a solid
Great
connection.
name.
They're talking about a show they both grew up watching. They talk about, they talk about the show and how they he brings up how he doesn't want his kids watching a lot of TV. And when she hears him talking about having kids, she's like, her eyes light up. She's like, oh shit, this guy's like on that wavelength with me. He's talking about kids. I want kids. If that's anything Charlotte wants, it's a fucking baby, you know? And she
Feel that.
asks him how many kids he wants and begins to imagine the life that they would have together until she realizes she's running late for her other date.
She
Yeah.
gotta learn how to juggle. She got some time
You get
management
a
she
double
needs
book,
to
you
work
gotta double
on.
manage. And
This
she
is
fakes
so
a sore
shit.
throat and ends the date. Oh.
Girl,
Okay, so
be
like
better.
okay, but hear me out though. If she was truly like imagining this life with him in any real way, she would have said fuck the other date. Right? Or no? Or like
Yeah, because well, she would have okay, so what she would have had to done, this was hard, right? Because we've talked about this before. With the whole phones thing. Not everyone had a cell phone. So what she would have had to probably do is leave a message on the
Mhm.
guy's answering machine. And that's hard too, because then he would have felt, well, he would have came back and like heard the excuse, right? Or whatever. But at least that's her checking in and being like, oh, something happened. She would have had to make an excuse for the next guy. So yes. However, she could have done that
Yeah.
also.
She is.
She could have ran to a
Yeah.
payphone,
After go to the restroom, runs to a
and done
payphone.
that.
Oh, yeah, she could have done that, but she didn't.
But to be fair, Eric's not
Why?
her type. because he's a little more scruffy, not as
That's
much
probably why I
like put
actually like him.
together,
Oh
not
yeah,
as
he's not
waspy.
waspy. That's why I like him. The other guy is waspy.
However, we'll see with
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I am.
yes.
Next scene,
Yeah.
we have Samantha at her apartment, and she got a letter. She got a letter from those
Ooh.
neighbors that she's been fucking from through the wall. Pretty cool. And it's really, honestly, it's hot.
I've
Yeah,
never done anything like that.
it
It's
is,
it's
because
hot in
the
theory
letter
for
says,
sure.
Samantha, come over and say hello. We would love to tear down the wall between us.
Hey, everyone
You
loves a good
know?
unicorn once in a
So
while.
she goes outside her apartment door and she sees a man who's vacuuming in the hallway, and this is Jesus. And so he's very nice,
Jesus.
and he does not seem to like, he kind of speaks English but not very well, and he kind of understands but not very well. So there's a very clear
Yeah, he's like it's like typical
language
broken
barrier
English. It's
going
like
on. And so
barrier.
Samantha's trying to have a
Yeah.
conversation with them with a lot of like intense undertones that you wouldn't normally catch when you were like trying to understand a second language that you're not super familiar with. So she asks him if he's seen them and asks him about them, and he says they're very nice. Yes, he is a musician, and his wife is a dancer. And so Samantha asks him, are they nice looking? And he's like, yes, they're very good, very nice.
He
Yes.
says, yeah, very
And
good,
she's
very
like, oh,
nice.
thanks. Okay, cool. So she's got her like, okay, of like, like, yeah, like, there's some hot people. I'm gonna go fuck them.
Yeah.
Personally, I wouldn't shit where I eat personally or live. Like, I, that's dangerous. I don't know. Your neighbor.
I don't
I don't
know.
know. I don't know. Never been in
Because then
this
you're
situation. I don't
just
know.
walking your
Maybe if
damn
I was,
door.
I would feel different. Who knows? Charlotte on her. Oh, yeah. If anybody of y'all have ever done that, tell us. We want to know how that works. Um,
I'm
oh
sure that
shit.
happens quite
Charlotte is
often.
on her second date of the night, and I remember too. Like, she got fried oysters and French fries with this guy. That was their dinner. And if you notice,
Ooh, that
honestly, it
sounds
does look like a
so
friggin'
good.
like lager with like lime on it and salt.
No, I'm like a white wine or like a fucking martini, a dirty martini with fucking oysters.
Ugh, I'm getting hungry. I'm gonna go do that for this probably.
Me too.
Anyways, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but as they're saying goodnight, she burps. It's really cute
She burps, which
though.
I think is
And
so
because she's
cute.
like worried about how she was gonna finish both of those dinners. And as he's kissing her goodnight, Charlotte hears her name from across the street. And it's Eric. Date number one. And he was there
This
dropping
makes
off
me
chicken
so
soup for her
sad.
throat.
You want to know another reason why I'm loyal? That I cannot bear like giving someone my time and attention and them feeling like it was all for naught. I'm a very all for one,
And
none for
he,
all kind of person. And it's
yeah,
like, and
they were talking about
I'm
kids
like
and
that.
shit, and like they were really. I thought it was a great date.
I won't talk kids. I will not talk kids with
Exactly.
someone I am not
So it was
serious about.
obviously good, but no. And date number two is like, who's that guy? And he's like, I'm the guy she had dinner with before you. He didn't say it with that much sass, but you get what I'm saying. Um, and they're
Isn't it really funny though, because it's like People date around.
I'm
Like,
not
it
saying
happens. But,
like,
like, a double booking. Oh, well, because Charlotte goes off of her own word. Remember, she's like, am I not guaranteed
yep,
fidelity to the end of the night?
yep.
She says that
So
in a
she tried
previous
it,
episode.
and now she sees the other side of it. Yep.
The
And they're
repercussions.
both upset with her, and they leave, and they tell her to enjoy the soup, and they even share the crab together. He's like, "You go."
They're
Oh, I
probably
thought you were gonna
best
say
friends.
fucking. I'm sorry.
I mean, hey,
That was
teach
my
their
thought.
own.
I was like,
Honestly, I'd
oh,
pay to.
like,
I would. I'd pay to see the two of them fuck.
I'll split that
Two very
cost with
handsome
you. Let's
men.
go.
Ooh. Especially if there was, throw Charlotte in there, and then we'll Eiffel Tower it, and then yeah. I love a good Eiffel Tower. I want to go to Paris. I see
Okay,
Paris
Carrie.
in my near future. An Eiffel Tower. You gotta high five them. Come on, bro. High five to high five.
Oh my gosh.
Just saying. It's called Sex in the City.
So visual right now. High fiving.
Good. I think the high fiving's hilarious.
It paints a clear picture in my head. This is what I'm saying. It's making me laugh.
I apologize.
Stop.
Okay, keep going.
Here we go. Sorry, I'm reading my notes real quick. Oh yeah, Charlotte says that she's never gonna take advice from her friends again. We learned her lesson. Like, but I'm here like, bitch, they told you to date more, not double book. They were even surprised that you double booked. You,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, she got too close to the sun.
She got too close.
A
She girl
little
bossed too
bit.
close to
But
the
that's
sun.
okay. You gotta learn. She tried it out. It wasn't for her, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Very, very late that night, Samantha puts on a really sick lingerie set.
That's the outfit I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
It's that.
It honestly. Oh yeah, the outfit that I was talking about was the poncho from the picnic scene. Because when
okay, that's cute too.
and just like that, it pops back up. That's what Lily wears. Yeah. And if you don't know who Lily is, that's okay. We'll get there. If you know Lily,
you'll find
Lily
out later.
puts that on as like a teenager. So
that's sweet. No, I'm talking about
beautiful.
the lingerie set.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. Anything on Samantha's body, stunning. I hope to get there at least maybe this year. I would like to tone up quite a lot.
That's how she does it.
But yeah, honestly, it's a lot of low impact stuff. I would love to get back and cycle. If anyone wants to pay for my cycle bar membership, hit me up in the DMs. I'm trying to go 3 times a week again or more.
So she puts that set on to go meet the neighbors. She wants to go meet the dancer and the musician. Yeah. So she walks over and she knocks on the door. Finally gonna meet them. And they are not what she thought it was gonna be. And I'm not trying to shame anyone. They were nice people. But they were just not her type.
They were older. There was an older man and woman who they weren't as conventionally attractive, but they were a couple.
And she backs out and is like,
huh. You know what's kind of sad though? She went off looks. What if the sex was bomb? You're not attracted
to someone you're not attracted.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. She should have had a bottle. If she had a bottle of, oh no, did
Not
she
that.
smoke before? No. That was the time. She needed like a bottle of wine or something. Just go, bitch. Just try it out. Life's too short. Come on, Samantha.
She was not into it. She walked her ass back home, but before she did, she was like, "Can you guys keep it down?" Like she disguised her like that,
So
and they were just
rude.
like, "Oh shit, okay." So she broke her pattern too. She moved her bed
Rude.
to the other wall.
All
Yep.
extensively too.
That night in the lingerie, she moved her bed to the other side. And so next
Get
scene,
it,
we
girl.
have Miranda on her last date with Kevin. And Kevin finally made partner at his law firm. And everything was exactly the same. He was still complaining about everything and it was still pissing her off. And honestly, side note, the t-shirt that Miranda has on in this scene looks phenomenal on her. Like, I feel like the color that they chose on her, I wish they would have done that again and again and again. It's just like lilac purple against
I
her
don't
like bright
remember.
ass red hair.
Mm.
Um, but so she's fed up with his complaining about everything, his pessimism, his fucking just he's mean. He's mean all the time. She's tired of his shit. And she asks him if he can be happy for literally a moment. And he's just like, "You don't understand the pressure that I'm under." And he basically calls her delusional, saying she lives in Never Never Land. Yeah.
Again.
And then he complains about the wine and he that they're drinking because they went out to dinner to go celebrate
Mm.
his job promotion and he's complaining about the job he just got promoted to. And that's what I was saying. If you're like waiting for some event to happen for him to
Waiting for
change,
something.
anyone to change their like core values of like what they do, this man insults her and takes it too far. It's one thing to poke fun at each other and it's one thing to complain about other shit going on, but
Yeah.
it's another thing to like say that somebody is like delusional and lives in Never Never Land and all that. You're like attacking them at that point. It's not fun anymore, and it is reaching a
Yeah.
very toxic and honestly slippery slope area, and I don't like it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, he complains about. Honestly, okay, so this is actually one of my favorite lines. I think it's funny, and I quote it sometimes. He says, "If there's a difference between this $100 bottle of wine and the crap they sell for $29 at the grocery store, it takes a more delicate palate than mine to detect it." Yeah, but she says she likes the wine and is enjoying the food. And look, there's even flowers on the table. And he's like, "Don't piss me off." So she stands up.
What a jerk.
She puts her coat on and begins to leave. And he's like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, where are you going?" And she's like, "I'm going back to Never Never Land. And don't ever fucking call me again." You know, like she's fucking done. She reached her last point. She had her final straw. And I super duper respect her for walking away at that point because it really was reaching to
Yeah.
a point where it was just toxic. Um,
Yeah.
but she leaves her date with Kevin and is walking home. They're in Manhattan. And she realizes that she broke her pattern in her life and her relationships in an unexpected way with Kevin. You know, the angry guy turned her, who's usually just the most pessimistic bitch out there, into a cockeyed optimist. She's feeling good. And guess who she runs into?
I totally
Skipper.
forgot about this.
So
Yep.
poor Skipper is walking around New York City just upset because he's like, you know, mind you, it's probably like the same week that Carrie saw him, still pretty messed up about his shit. And she's so happy to see him. And he's like ahead of her and she's behind him. And she's like, "Slow down. Like, I want to talk to you." And he's like starting to run. he barks at her like don't tell me what to do. Like he's like, I'm not gonna stop for you. Don't tell me what to do. Stop it. And she's like, I just want to say hello. How you been? Like she's like trying to flirt with this guy that's running away from her.
Yeah.
If somebody is doing things to get away from you, that is not love. Leave them alone. If somebody is trying, like, this whole, no,
Yeah.
leave them alone. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. If
Leave them
somebody's
alone.
blocking you, leave them alone. Let them go.
Yeah,
Stop breaking
they're
their
making
boundaries.
their
So he's fucking screaming at her, like, leave me alone. Like, and he's like, I can't believe you have the nerve to talk to me like this as if nothing ever happened. Do you remember? He broke up with his last girlfriend while inside of her, and to be with Miranda, to and mind you, this girlfriend of his, he was really happy with, and
yeah.
he broke up with her to be with Miranda, and then Miranda's like, I just wanted a casual thing, fully knowing that he was in a very committed relationship, and the last time they saw each other was horrible. It was horrible. And this is how she acts when she sees him again because he doesn't want to see her. That is so toxic. You know, she even like asks him if he's been working out. It's so gross.
I
Honestly, like the
know.
crinkiest
What is
really
it's so
is.
cheap
And it
too.
really goes to show you
Yeah.
she does not respect him at all. He's a young little fucking
Yeah.
boy toy fuck for her, whatever. He even says like, I'm not like
Yeah.
your little cowboy Miss Dial-a-fuck. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
clearly he is. Um, but you know, they do mention that's the thing about patterns. Just because like you want them, like they don't break just because you want them to. You know, just because it worked with
Yeah.
Kevin doesn't mean she's fixed. And mm, it's like the type of person that like only wants to be with you when they can't have you, I guess. Yeah, that shit's rough.
Oof. That's rough.
But
Yeah.
we have Carrie and John saying goodnight. They had just such an yeah. They tried to go on one more date, and Carrie just like kind of like she says that she refused to believe that a passionate sexual connection couldn't translate into a meaningful friendship, at least.
Come
And
on. How are you
you know
34
what?
and that naive?
She did the footwork. She didn't know, so she tried it out. You know? So
True.
she tries to connect with him about a few different topics. Talking about the appreciation for the street that she has and the history that comes with it. She does live in the brownstones in do you know much about that area of New York? I don't know like
A
anything
little?
about it, but I do know that it is a very historical area of New York City. Like a lot of these buildings are like at this point like 100 years old. And so a lot of really cool people live there and you know, it is a reflection of what New York City looked like in a certain time period. And she's referencing that and he just replies to her that her tits look really great in that thing she's wearing. Have you ever tried to have an intellectual conversation with somebody and then they remind you that they only see you as like a little piece of meat? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so much. And at that
Yeah.
moment, she realized,
But I've also done it
yeah,
vice versa. I'm like, take off your pants.
yeah, yeah, we've all been there. So, yeah, so yeah, at that point, she realizes they only had two things in common. And she says, like, she makes up an excuse about not being able to invite him up, and he's like, "No, it's okay." And they kiss goodbye, and they have this like unspoken understanding, like this is it. Like it got weird. We can't do this anymore. And you know, Carrie just says that she goes back into the old routine again of staying out late, eating greasy Chinese food, sleeping until noon, and
Right back into
feeling
it. Yeah.
restless. That,
Oof. That's an
yeah,
interesting thing to kind of like end
yeah,
on too, that restless
yes,
feeling. Because if you don't
like
put that
something,
energy into something
yeah,
else,
that shit could eat you
woo,
alive. Yeah,
100%, 100%. When you're single and you kind of want someone and you don't have a whole lot going on, you gotta keep yourself busy for the betterment of yourself and to not
exactly,
drive yourself insane.
exactly. And I think
Yeah,
that's a great note to end
for
on. It
sure.
definitely is like a cliffhanger. Uh,
100%. Especially into the like next
oh my
episode.
God, this next episode is like you 1,000 times over so hard.
Which one is it?
I'm pretty sure it's the one where we meet
Tell
somebody's
me.
mother.
Hell yeah. Hold up. Side note. When we first started the podcast, I wanted us to like wear gimmicky shirts. And I found this site with little crop tops. Oh, and I should have bought it. I should have bought it. And it was like, said something, it was like your mom's favorite girlfriend or something, like your mom's favorite ex-girlfriend. And I was like, I've never seen anything more realistic for myself in my life. Look, at the end of the day, and it's because I don't have a relationship with my biological mother. I think moms pick up on that and they're like, "Come here." Or they see me like being so devoted to their son, they're like, "That one." But anyway, you're right. Hell yeah. This is a great season. I can't wait for the end of it though, because holy shit. I keep thinking about it and I'm like, what a fucking twist. But yeah, what a twist. Holy shit. But I'm so happy we filmed.
Yeah, we
It's
had
been
a
a
lot to get
hot
off our
second since
chests.
we filmed. Yeah. We haven't filmed in like actually because we filmed early and I think I posted later. So it's been quite
Mm-hmm.
some time since we like filmed. A lot of stuff has happened in that time period. So life has
It
been going
happens.
real fast.
It's shorter,
It's been
you
going
know?
real fast. I also think like for me, the busier I am, the faster things go. And I'm just like, how the fuck is it
I don't fucking know.
December? What the
Soon to be
fuck?
2025. I'm not ready for next
It's
year.
crazy.
I'm not
I am. The fact that it's been 5 years since COVID is
ready for
kind
this
of insane.
presidency.
I mean, we do what we can do. You vote for who you can vote for. You can stand on your belief system. And that's that. At the end of the day, God bless America. I hope everything works out for everyone. That's just me personally and my political views. I want everyone to be safe and provided for and loved. That's me. It's not that easy. Unfortunately. However, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for coming back. It's been a couple weeks. We are back though. We're going to be thriving. We're going to be ready and I think I am ready for like a bullet for next year. I really want to push us forward. Dude, like I keep talking about fucking merch. I am so ready for merch, dude. I want my own. Like I want Scrump, dude. Hook us up. I think he goes locally too for his own stuff. And I even think like I know someone who does stuff for their band that's local. I'm like, I think you and I should do local to support local. But sometimes I'm like, I just want like 30 hoodies, like right now. But no, actually curious if we get merch, well, when we get merch, is there anything you guys are interested in? I know I have a request. I already have a request for a mug and a mouse pad.
Had a request
So
for
I'm like,
a
does
hat.
anyone want anything else?
Mm-hmm.
Did you? Really? What kind of hat though? Like a snapback or like just a
Like
regular
longer
like a
front part.
baseball?
It's more like a trucker kind of vibe.
This is snapback.
Is that what it
Trucker.
is?
A trucker hat. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll work with it. I'm very excited. I want some merch out. Even too, like, I'm not big in like I mean, obviously I want to sell some merch if we can. I'm just big on like if you guys want something, I want to buy it. If you guys want to wear our stuff with our logo or just to help promote, I'm all about it, dude. I'm all about it. So that is my biggest goal for the next year. More involvement, more merch, and just supporting you guys and what you want to hear and getting out the rest of the episodes. So very excited for season 3. That's our halfway mark. How did this happen? How did this happen? This is crazy. This is so cool.
Oh
We
yeah.
have a blast,
Put on
dude. But yeah, no, we're always working to get better and look better and
yeah.
all that stuff too. So we want to improve video, sound, all that shit for you guys. We're trying our absolute best. So just stick around and thank you guys so much for the patience and for sticking around. And obviously, it's a very new podcast and all that shit. So, but yeah, thank you guys for all the love and support thus far, especially around the whole Spotify Wrapped thing. Thank you guys for halfway through the year to already have the support we have. Very, very thankful and grateful. So, with that, thank you guys for sticking around. We will see you guys hopefully next week. Obviously, the holidays are coming upon us too, so we might have to take a pause or two with the holiday season, but holiday season. But yeah. So anyway, we'll be coming back with you guys for sure in the new year. So if we don't see you until then, thank you. We love you. Thank you so much. It's been such an honor to do this year, and like thanks for making the latter part of 2024 such a fucking blast. So thank you guys so much for listening. We'll catch you guys. We'll see you guys hopefully next week. If not, whenever we can. But thank you. We love you guys so much. So bye guys.